So I had to go and test it for myself. So that meant getting myself arrested on purpose. The actual verdict for me was a side issue. My main goal was to take it out of the hands of the magistrate or the judge. Because getting a trial by jury is only half of it.
Yeah.
You need to know what to do when you engage. It turned like that.
Yeah.
That we were okay 1 minute, next minute security were coming in and they were potentially going to take her down for contempt of court.
And it is the linchpin. I've said this
It
to
is.
both of them. This
It's
is
what
the
underpins
linchpin
everything. It's how they
of the
control
system.
everyone.
So, what was your inspiration to create this event that's coming up in London?
Well, it was you.
Was it?
Yeah, it was
Was
you.
it really?
Yeah.
Okay, welcome everyone to another Rachel Speaks With, and it's so nice to be outside back in nature. And here I am at Cressbrook Dale with the amazing Dean of Buxton.
Hi, Rachel.
So welcome, Dean. Thanks for
Hi.
coming to meet me. And of course, I can't open this conversation without mentioning how instrumental you were around the purchase of this land, in terms of, because you know a lot about land and how to structure things. When we were buying it, and we set the whole thing up as a private members association, and you taught me a huge amount about how to structure yourself in the private and not in the public, and these were things which I'd never even contemplated before, because my whole world was, well, you've got to set up a company surely, and so I learnt a huge amount from you, Dean, and of course we were partners for 18 months, so we watched a huge amount of videos together, and yeah, I learnt a massive amount about the principles of law and legislation. So tell us, Dean, what inspired you to really kind of make it your mission and your business, not only to learn everything, but also now to be a teacher, and to be, you're hosting an event in May in London all about law. And yeah, tell us a bit about your, I know that you're in the private, so you don't like to give too much away about you and yourself, but tell us what inspired you.
So I guess it was when I first woke up, let's say, from the Matrix. You know, the deceit and how deep and far wide it went. So, you know, annoyance, anger, all of these things can be good motivators. So with that, I sought out to find out about the deceit and the deception. So, because I just don't like being lied to, you know. So that was my motivation in the beginning. And then you obviously start to do your own research. But then I came to the conclusion very early on that I couldn't believe anything again that I was being told. So I had to go and test it for myself. So that meant getting myself arrested on purpose.
Oh, was it on purpose?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I didn't realise it was on purpose. I thought you were sort of randomly arrested.
No. I set out a plan that I would just naturally let my car run out of tax, insurance, MOT, and then wouldn't drive under licence. And a month into that, I got pulled up, and then I was being churned up by the system. But it was because of that. So the not knowing what you can trust, what you can't trust, who was telling the truth and who wasn't. So I had to go and find some of it for myself.
No, I just want to interject here, Deanie, because
Yeah.
a lot of people watching this might say, oh, that's very bad, that's very naughty. But it's very important to say, knowing you, that you live by common law principles to cause no harm, injury or loss.
Yeah.
And
Do you want
so,
me to hold that while you go over?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just going to negotiate a fallen tree here.
You got it?
Yeah. So in terms of, because I remember asking you this once, because someone I knew had sort of expressed a bit of consternation, like, oh, that's really bad, isn't it? Driving with no license and no insurance, and what if you hit someone? And you gave me a really wonderful answer to that. So
Yeah, well, the answer to that is that what the system has done, it's monetized death. So if you're insured and you kill somebody, they get a payout, right?
or their family.
Well, the family, yeah. But all that does is makes it more acceptable. It should never be acceptable. It should not be more acceptable. It shouldn't be less of a pain or a burden or that type of thing. So the money element, you know.
So in other words, when you drive without insurance, you drive triply carefully because of your intention to cause no harm, injury or loss, right?
Yeah, well, learning all of this stuff, it makes you more responsible, more accountable.
We're just heading up a steep hill, folks, hence why it's a bit out of breath.
It is a proper steep hill.
It's actually quite steep here.
Go
But
on.
anyway, let's keep going. Yeah, so just complete that piece about insurance, because I feel it's an important thing, because I don't want people to
So,
get the sort of misunderstanding that you don't care.
no, it's not at all about that. So when people have insurance, they feel as though that's their safety net. It's okay, I can drive and do my makeup, let's say, whilst I'm travelling around in my motor. It's okay, I've got insurance.
Yeah.
I can go a little bit faster than the speed limit and then risk those red lights. Okay, I'm insured. But it actually makes you complacent because you feel as though you have that safety net, but then there's more chance for you to do harm.
Yes.
So that's the issue with the money side of it. It's almost,
And it's like big business, isn't it? It's massive business, insurance business.
yeah,
I mean, my premium like doubled just on this last renewal. It's like, why? How did
Well,
that happen?
yeah, either that or the value of the pound has been cut in half.
Maybe.
Yeah, bit of both.
Anyway, so back to your story. You got arrested.
Yeah, so I got arrested. It's then that you start to be churned up by the system.
Now, is this a story that you're going to share at the event that you're doing?
Oh, well, I have already shared it before, so to some it may or may not be news. This particular story, I won't need to share it at the event, so it's fine to...
I think the key thing is, it's not until you actually get arrested or go to court that you really realise what you're dealing with. So, you know, you can read lots of books or something, but it's like you learn so much through walking through the fire. And I was talking to Ed about this. It's like a trial by fire, the ordeal of going to court and the levels of fear they try to inflict upon you, same as when you're arrested. So, how did you navigate all of that, Dean?
Well, I was doing it off the cuff, because obviously it was still very early days in my learning. I got to sample much of their tactics that they use. Just something as simple but very aggressive is they will say that you didn't appear at court, when and what's actually happened is they changed the date. So in my particular case is they set a date for, let's say, the 30th of September, but they sent the boys round, 7 of them, with battering rams and drills and crowbars to come and get me because the police said, well, you didn't appear at court. Well, hold on a minute, the last letter that you sent stated that it was on the 30th of September. No. Anyway, they came on the 20th of September said that you didn't appear on the 18th when it said that the new one was, which is just a tactic to break people,
Right.
which
Now,
is not going to work on me.
Let's just stop there and contemplate. Let me ask you, why does the system want to break people? I mean, why have we got a system which is not supportive and nourishing and understanding and encouraging and supportive of the people? Because we pay for the police, right? And they are under oath to protect we the people and our property.
Yeah, well, I've got a couple of sayings for that.
What are they?
I don't know if it was Thomas Jefferson or someone else like that. He said words to the effect of that every few generations liberty will have to be achieved by the spilling of the blood of the people. So it means that over time people become corrupted.
And systems, yeah.
And the systems, but obviously the people, because the system is obviously not real until people do it.
Yes.
So I don't like to talk about the Constitution too much, but the American Constitution was actually formulated as a constitutional republic. Now, one of the founding fathers of it, he came out of the meeting and a reporter asked him, "What have you given us, or what have we got?" And he said, "A constitutional republic, if you can keep it."
Right.
Now what that means is that everything, even something as solid as a constitutional republic, is prone to man's downfall.
Corruption.
Yeah.
It's kind of what they're saying is happening in America right now, where it's sort of descending into a bit like 1930s Germany, with the rounding up of certain ethnic minorities, shall we say, in the same way that happened in Germany in the 1930s. And there's a lot of concern about the levels of violence. So I don't want to get into the politics of it or the rights or wrongs of it, but it feels like America's descending into that. And certainly the UK, or I should say England, because the UK is a corporation, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, these places, they're all fictions, aren't they? It's just, there's only like the landmass. Everything else is fiction. There's no England, really. It's whatever we just associate with. We have to use certain words in order to communicate a thing. So we use words like England so that people have in their mind, oh, that landmass.
Yeah.
Or if I use a separate word called Wales, in their minds they know, oh, it's that. But it's still fiction.
Yeah.
The word itself is fiction.
But the spelling of England is like land of the Angles, like land of the Angles.
Yeah,
it's
I think
like,
that's perhaps where it's come from.
There was I was watching some docu-series, and that they did a bit back on in Ireland, and one of the guys said it's Ireland, not your land, it's Ireland.
Yeah.
And then you go, oh, that's why they called it Ireland.
Yeah, it's land,
that's
my land.
The Irish pronunciation of our land, Ireland.
Yeah.
Ireland. And it's like, wow, so it's like we the people own the land, and I think it's like we've forgotten that.
Well, we come from the land, and we will go back to the land, whether we are buried or cremated. Either way, we're going back to the land.
So this is the thing, Dean. Let's just stop here for a sec before we run out of path. So this is an important part of common law, isn't it? Being the free man and free woman of the land. So, for example, this is one of the interesting things about having purchased Crestbrook Dale here as a community project. And we own this freehold outright. It is at land registry, which is that's another whole kettle of fish. But you would think that it's our land, we own it outright, we don't owe anything, no mortgages, no charges, no bank. It's like outright purchased. You'd think that we would be free to do what we like on this land.
Okay.
And then the authorities and the system comes down on you like a ton of bricks to say you can't do this and you can't do that. And
yeah, partially, but we did have a discussion right at the very beginning of your interest in this land, is that I said there may be local people that may believe that they have some type of interest,
Okay.
like footpaths and such things.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, when you have land, you honour the public footpaths. because
Yeah, the public footpaths, yeah.
There's a common law right for people to go from village to village the shortest possible.
And it benefits all, because if I want to walk from A to B, then it's there for me as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So just to clarify there, we've never stopped anyone from using the footpaths. In fact, we love to see people walking the land and enjoying it. But anyway, we're kind of slightly going off piece, but I was trying to get back to this idea of free man and woman of the land, and
Yeah.
this
You have to
whole
be careful with that, though.
maritime.
Don't label yourself as that,
Okay,
because
so
that's a label.
let's talk a bit about labels then.
I
I mean, let's pull back from it a second, because actually it can get really, really complex, but it's really, really simple, isn't it? Because we did a little video, common law,
yeah,
explained in 60 seconds. So
we did.
maybe if you just do
And the first bit was 60 seconds long. You know, like
Before I took
some
over.
people say, oh, you know, learn about this in 60 seconds, and the video is 5 hours long, right?
I added
But
the
the
rest.
initial bit is 60 seconds, and it tells you the fundamentals.
So do you want to share that?
Well,
Just-
it's to do no harm, injury, or loss to your fellow man or woman,
yeah.
right? And the way that you access the common law, LORE, is via your fellow man and woman. So you bring in your fellow man and woman via a trial by jury to judge you whether or not what you were doing was right or wrong.
Yeah. And it's common sense, based on common sense.
Common sense, conscience as well. So they could take into account a multitude of various circumstances and see in one case, oh yeah, they did do wrong, but in a different case, but maybe with the same charge, no, they didn't do wrong. So they can be flexible in their judgments.
And this is one of the things that came out in the conversation with Ed, and I know that you helped him on his, because he was like, my sense, having spoken to him, it really shook him what happened to him, and
Yeah, well, you're fighting for your life when something like that goes on.
well, yeah, but the key thing about the trial by jury, and this is the really, really important point, is that a jury, as in a trial by jury, has the right to disregard any legislation in reaching its verdict.
Well,
So-
not only legislation, but anything. A jury can, this is from Blackstone's commentary, a jury can determine and render a verdict of the facts and the law at their own hazard.
Right.
So what that means is that if they are going to consent to someone robbing someone else, because the jury can do that, they can say, no, we consent to that, so we're not going to find you guilty. It's at their own hazard,
Because it creates a precedent.
because it can then be them that is robbed or attacked.
Yes. So essentially, a trial by jury is we create the society
Yes.
which we want to live in, and so. But the thing is, with a trial by jury, it has to be unanimous, so beyond reasonable doubt,
Yes.
and a unanimous verdict which can take into all account everything and disregard any legislation. So it becomes a really powerful tool to cut through the bullshit of ridiculous legislation. And there was the example I mentioned, I think to Ed, or was it Dane, about the guy during lockdown who sold someone a Cornish pasty, and he was in his 60s or 70s with a heart condition. Went into the magistrate's court, didn't know about trial by jury or his common law rights, and basically was sent to prison for violating these emergency measures,
Yes.
even though his lawyer said that he had health conditions, and then he died of a heart attack. And so, but if he'd known about his right to trial by jury, a jury would have thrown that out. I'm
Well,
certain.
we would always like to think so, you know, like I said a moment ago, a jury can do anything. So it's how convincing are you? How able are you to convey why it was that you did what you did?
Yeah.
Right? So that's like how you have to approach it when you're going to a trial by jury. You have to convince those 12 jury members that why you did what you did was right.
Yeah.
So it's not just an automatic like that.
Oh, no.
Just because it's 12 people, You have to convince them, because the other side is going to try and unconvince them.
Yes.
You're guilty, so
That
it's...
you're a convict and you need to be locked up and the key thrown away, sort of thing.
Yeah, so it's... Yeah. And just one thing about charge is that a charge is an after-the-fact event. So it used to be that, like, they would say, well, we'll bring in the accused. Right? So the accused is obviously a different word to charge. So now they've changed it to the word charge. So when you are charged with something, right there and then you are found guilty. And when you go to a magistrate, it's up to you to prove that you are innocent, not you are innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
So the word charge is very tricky, very slippy.
So this is the fundamental thing: innocent unless proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt. But the police very much work from the basis that if the Crown Prosecution this is my understanding, if the Crown Prosecution Service has looked at the police file and believes that you're guilty, they will just use the magistrates' court essentially just to rubber stamp it, because they've already found you guilty, and that's why it's actually, in my observation experience, really difficult to be found innocent by a magistrate's court. You don't want to go there.
Not at a magistrate's.
Yeah.
They're not good places to go.
Yeah. So this is and actually this is something I'm sure that you will talk about at the law event, because it's a really important principle about not giving jurisdiction to a magistrate's court, because
it's absolutely essential.
Because we went and supported one of your friends, we won't say who, but because he had accidentally consented to the jurisdiction, he couldn't then later get out of it. And
no, that's right.
get a
They
trial
said
by jury.
they said you have already consented. They literally spoke those words to him. They said you have already consented.
Yeah, and so it's like a machine,
Yes.
like a bulldozer, that's like a runaway train.
Yes.
That you're not going to stop.
No, once you have consented, they just use that as, right, fair enough. Now we are starting the ball rolling.
Yeah, so it's key not to give jurisdiction.
Yeah, it's key
Yeah.
to keeping yourself safe.
There's so many kind of banana skins and tricks and slips that you can fall prey to, and I said this to Ed, it's not until you've actually been arrested or you go through into a courtroom that you realise the extent of it. So it's so important that we all kind of, clue ourselves in on what to do.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Yeah. And the thing is, when my little situation happened, I ended up, without knowing, I didn't know Dean at that point, and this was before the whole of the COVID thing and before I got involved with the freedom movement and was exposed to amazing people like you. I went down the route of getting a lawyer, getting a barrister, spending like 15 grand trying to get myself out of this sticky spider's web of red tape, and it was really, really frightening, and I had a lot at stake.
But now you know better.
But that's the thing, it's like it costs an absolute fortune, and Ed was saying that he spent thousands, tens of thousands
he was
on lawyers
quoted.
Before.
He was quoted to just get to a trial by jury, £150,000.
Wow.
Now that's what he was quoted.
Yeah.
So that's a bare minimum.
Yeah.
Remember, these solicitors are always going to whack things on.
Yeah.
And 50,000 to them would be nothing. So he could have ended up losing his house.
Yeah.
Because he would have had to sell it to pay off his own legal fees and then the fines on top.
Yeah, yeah.
So as it was, he didn't have to.
Yeah.
So
And
that's a win-win, right?
So how easy, let's ask you this question, Dean. How easy is it for you to defend yourself and for you to stand?
It's not easy. You have to know what you're doing. You've got to be committed. You have got to listen as well to every single word in the court that is being said. Something as simple as take a seat and then they have authority and control over you.
Because you consented to their jurisdiction.
Because you can understand them, right? You
Yeah.
have just done something that they have directed you to do. So take a seat Oh yeah, I'll take a seat. Right, well then they're in control of you because they have just told you what to do.
Yeah.
And that is what's called jurisdiction.
And I think it's fair to say that they really, really don't like it if you question the systems, stand for yourself, don't have a barrister, don't have a solicitor.
No, so
my experience.
the
Should we
aim.
just walk? Should we keep
Yeah,
walking?
yeah, let's go for it. So the aim of the game was when I started was that I wanted to take the decision out of the hands of the magistrate or the judge. The actual verdict for me was a side issue. My main goal was to take it out of the hands of the magistrate or the judge. Because if I could do that, and if I knew I could do that and then replicate it,
Yeah.
that would be such a good, strong position to be in. Because the next step from that is all that I've got to do, I've got to learn how to convince 12 jury members
Yeah.
who are like me.
Yes. So, what was your inspiration to create this event that's coming up in London?
Well, it was you.
Was it?
Yeah, it was
Was
you.
it really?
Yeah, it was you. You said to me, oh, we're doing an event. And I said, right, okay, cool.
Oh, no, that's right. Yeah, no, because, no, it was Rog. No, we have to give credit to Roger Manners because he was the one who kept nagging me, Rachel, we have to do a law event. And we are doing one actually in May, which you are speaking at. But you then, off the back of that initiative, decided to do one in London.
Yeah, because I asked you what was going on. You were like, not sure.
I was a bit,
So I said, stop faffing about and let's get it done.
I was a bit iffing and ahhing because I wasn't sure and I didn't want to commit to doing this thing. And wasn't actually sure we'd kind of sell many tickets. And in fact, we'd like sort of sold 2/3 of them already. I'm going to put the link to both these events below because whether you're up north and close to York, or whether you're down south, close to London.
Yeah.
There's two amazing events, different speakers, although
So
I'll be at both and you'll be at both.
Yeah.
But the other speakers are different. But the intention is really to cover all sorts of ground in terms of what is law and how is it different from legislation? Because I think that's a really fundamental piece when you realise that legislation is not law. Do you want to speak to that slightly?
Okay, so I have a memorised quote. So legislation is what is called an act of statute. So it's not acts and statute, it's an act of statute, right? So an act of statute is given the force of law by the consent of the governed. I'll say that again. An act of statute is given the force of law by the consent of the governed. So when you break that down, it tells you in that paragraph that it's not law, but somehow it gains the force of law when you have consented to it. So it's like a contract.
So, but when you say consented, does that mean participated in elections or voted?
Anything at all, from using your birth certificate to registering something, a car, a land registry, any one of those things that involves the government or any official, that is consent.
Yeah, so this comes round to speeding. This is another little hot potato of ours. Because obviously a driving licence is a fiction. So when you try to, because I've tried to do this using a common law approach and saying I require a trial by jury against, in a court for a speeding fine, it's kind of like the legislation comes hand in hand with the driving licence. So if you've consented to one, you've consented to the other.
Yes, and they can only license something that is already lawful.
Right.
So that's quite tricky for people to comprehend. So if I said to someone, can we or the government license murder? And forget 007, that's fiction, right? So can the government license it? Yes or no? Just reasonable, what would you think?
Well, this is what they're trying to do with this euthanasia right to die bill, where they're actually making it legal.
At the moment, but just in someone's mind, conscience, can someone license murder?
No.
So I can go apply it right. So that answer is no.
But then you've got war and you've got these midazolam
so they can't license something that is already unlawful.
Right.
They can only license something that is already lawful.
Okay.
So you could license tree cutting, right?
Yeah.
So they could put a license on the whole of these trees And
Which they have.
yeah, and the one chopping the tree down would get a license because it's already a lawful activity.
Right.
So that's just a little bit on licenses.
So when the government tries to put through legislation on this euthanasia bill,
Yeah.
that's very dodgy.
Yeah, because it's perhaps just tiptoeing on the edge of the licensing murder.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even still in your mind, we know murder's wrong.
Yes.
You know, robbery's wrong. All of
Causing harm, injury, or
yeah,
loss.
all of these things we already know that they're wrong, but the government is trying to twist it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess just to kind of draw out of the detail here, what all of this is, and your events and everything you teach, and everything that Rogers is really passionate about, and that what we're doing in York, it's all about empowering people to really see through the kind of obfuscation, should we say, of all of this web of legislation and everything that we're wrapped up in. It's like we're wrapped up in this cocoon of red tape and like millions of pages of legislation which no one could comprehend, maybe with the help of AI, which is actually quite a good tool if you want to get to the bottom of things, because you can find out a lot about case law and legislation. But the key thing is uninstalling some of these kind of automatic beliefs that, for example, magistrates have power, police have power automatically, because they don't.
No, not automatically. But just to go on the event itself. So when I started to first interact with and talk to Dane, that actually kind of completed the information that I had already got. So what I mean by completed, not the information of how I need to handle myself in court, but completed like a course or a tutor period.
Fuller understanding.
An understanding of, so what the course is going to, what the event is going to demonstrate is how to obtain a trial by jury, what to do once you are engaged in a trial by jury, because getting a trial by jury is only half of it.
Yeah.
You need to know what to do when you're engaged. And then the third part, which Dane is going to cover as well, because he has had first-hand knowledge and experience, just like I have, and Ed, that's why I kind of brought these three people together, is that he has first-hand knowledge, Dane, on how to navigate the court with a judge only.
Yeah, and he won,
So-
didn't he, in the High Court?
So this will cover all areas. So if you go to court, you're either going to be in front of a judge or you're going to be in front of a jury. Those are the only two ways. So this covers the whole aspect of it. And if people are interested in protecting their property, this is going to be the most complete course that I'm going to be ever doing.
It's the kind of thing which is an amazing investment, actually, because it's priceless information. And you know, I threw 15 grand at a lawyer and a barrister when I was going through my situation, and even then I didn't get the result which I know. If I look back, I wish I'd known you. I wish I'd known about my rights and not allowed myself to be railroaded by the system into a plea bargain, pleading guilty to something that I was not guilty of, I knew I was not a criminal, but just because I just wanted to collapse it, because they'd taken my two younger sons away from me on bail conditions, which was also completely unlawful when I look back. I mean, I was stitched up. And unless you know what to do, it can cost you a huge amount of money, and you panic because...
Well, you get no further. You get no further than where you were, really.
Yeah. So that's what I think, and I think it's not until you've been arrested or you've gone to court or you've been burnt that you realise how important it is to be aware, and because once you've got that awareness, you don't have the same fear.
No.
You don't have that same level of fear.
And just to touch on that is that there is, unfortunately, a lot of negativity with regards to these, what I would call awake people, right? They say, oh, well, the court is this, the court is that. Yes, the court is a very tricky place to navigate. But if you are going to be going to court, it's no good going there and just saying you are corrupt, because at the moment you have to deal with what is in front of you. And there is a way to navigate it right here, right now. But if you're just of the mindset that, oh no, the courts are corrupt and this, that, yes, they're very tricky, I would agree that, but there is still area, still room to get justice. It's just, are you willing to learn it?
Yeah. It's like going into a labyrinth, and it's quite a dangerous place, and it's because it's a portal to prison.
Oh,
and
it
as
is,
we
yeah.
found, where I almost got sent to the
Yeah,
cells
you see,
for
that's
contempt,
that's
because
part
the
of
judge
the game.
raised his hackles a little
Yeah.
bit, and the G4S guards
Yeah,
arrived.
literally, it turned like that.
Yeah.
That we were okay 1 minute, next minute security were coming in, and they were potentially going to take her down for contempt of court. But thankfully,
and that is a 6 month in prison sentence.
it's a maximum, yeah. But thankfully, we avoided that because I recognised it, not to be big-headed.
Thanks to Dean.
But I
have to
recognised
say.
it, and we sorted it.
Yeah, it does help to have. You weren't actually my Mackenzie friend at that
No, but
particular
I was
one,
behind
but you
you.
were behind me, and
Yeah.
I looked at you like a startled rabbit, caught in the headlights, and luckily we managed to avert it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's super important to to know what you're doing, for sure.
Yeah. So learn it. Stop crying about it and learn it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, right, Dean. So we need to go. It's getting a bit cold here, and I've got drenched earlier in the rain.
So when is the event in London?
So your event is Sunday 24th of May.
Correct.
Central London. The one in York is actually on Saturday the 9th of May. That's just an afternoon event. And so I'll put links to both of them below. And I've also done videos, interviews with Ed, who's speaking, Ed Otley,
Yep.
who did assert his right, and he got his trial by jury. And also Dane de Jour, who's amazing.
It's very sharp. Very sharp, Dane is very sharp.
About natural law, and I just, very, and he's clearly invested a lot of time in really, reading and researching, as have you. Because it is simple, but there's so many nuances and tricks. And so it's a very interesting, and it is the linchpin. I've said this to both of them.
It's what underpins everything. It's how they control
system.
everyone.
And so if we want to pull out the linchpin, collapse the Jenga tower, if we can pull the blocks, that linchpin out of this system, which is how they control everyone through the system of legislation, that is actually really crucial, really empowering. Yeah. Cool. So thanks, Dean. Thanks for coming out, and
Thank you.
Hope to see you on Sunday 24th of May.
Right. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.